Hey everybody, we're back. We'll keep going. More. Hope you're not sick of it yet. This one is going to be great, even more fun than the last one, if that's even possible. Actually, maybe not so fun, but also a little bit simpler and easier and quicker too. So here we go. Let's jump in. What are we doing? We are trying to learn how to turn Google Sheets into a graphing calculator for us, essentially, is what we're going to do. So let's do that. Let's go to my drive. That's drive.google.com, and it will find my drive for me. I'm going to click on new and do a Google Sheets. This is the same program essentially as Excel, but it's free and you don't have to install anything, which makes it great for educational applications like what we're trying to make here. Here we go, working. Yep. All right. Let's get it going. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do is, the same way we would graph something on paper where we make an XY table and then we graph it, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use this technology application to cut through some of the monotony and make things a little bit quicker and easier once we know how to do it. So let's jump right in here. So let's make up an equation we want to do. Let's say maybe negative x plus 5. Why not? Okay, so we're going to make our XY table. So let's say x values, y values. Okay, now we'll just make up our x values randomly. Let's say -2, -1, the classic ones, right? The easy ones, 0, 1, 2, and let's just throw 7 in there. Why not? Let's see what happens. Let's get crazy. So here we go, -x plus 5. Okay, so yes, all right, y values, x values, yes. Okay, so for this one, we know, okay, it would be -2 plus 5. So that'd be like something like 3, right? No, that would not be 3. That would be, in fact, 7 right there. So this is, yes, good. Now we see this. Now we see the point of using a calculator so I don't make mistakes, which I'm prone to do. So here is what we're going to do. Rather than kind of like thinking of the value off the top of our heads, what we're going to do is make the computer find it for us. So up until now, we've been using Google Sheets for the purpose of storing values rather than calculating anything. So we're going to type an equal sign, and that's going to indicate, okay, now rather than storing a value, it's time to calculate something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a negative sign. So I'm going to say negative A3, and let's see if this works. I think it will, plus 5. Okay, and there we go. Good. Okay, that is what I expected to happen. Yes, -1. Yes, because we will. Okay, good. All right. Now the cool thing is, after we do this, we can just copy and paste, and there we go. All of our values are right there. We want to add in anything, right? We want to find the 100th value. Boom, done. I'm going to delete that because otherwise it's going to mess up our graph. So there we go. We have now made our XY table. Now here is where it gets a little bit more interesting, clicking through some of the menus and stuff when we make the graph. What we're going to do is we're going to make our graph, of course. We're going to select this value right here, and we're going to go to Insert, and we're going to insert an image, a drawing. We're going to insert a chart, of course. Okay, and let's see. Usually kind of guesses like what kind of chart do we want? A bar graph here. Totally wrong, but that's okay. I forgive you. Let's go down here. We actually want a scatter plot. This is where things get interesting, like clicking through some of these options. That was definitely not one we wanted. Sometimes you can kind of just like click and just see what happens as you kind of like experiment with this. Like use row 1 as headers. So you can see right here, A7 through A1 through A7, so that's like the first cell right here, A1 and through A7. So we have 2 series in here, A1 through A7, B1 through B7. Use row 1 as headers. If I click that, it just renames it X values and Y values. So I'm going to leave that. And then here's a great one right here. Use column A as labels. So that did work. But you can see like it kind of left us with a problem here where my 7, rather than being like out in space and making that nice linear slope that we would expect, what happened was it kind of jumped from 2 to 7. So in order to fix that problem, this is kind of annoying, but we have to go over here to customize, and I believe it is under series. No, it is not under series. It is under, let's try horizontal axis. Right here, yes, treat labels as text. So these are not texts, these are numbers. That's kind of a critical thing to point out. So let's uncheck that. And now you can see like it kind of redid things, but ultimately it turned it into a linear equation. So rather than having each number, now it's graphed like on normal like 2-space graphing paper or something like that. And as we go out here to 7, the y value drops to number 2, and you can clearly see that it is a linear equation right here. So let's move this, give us a little more screen room to work with here. That looks good. All right, so a couple other things we can do now is we can go here to customize, and we can close up the horizontal axis for now. Now we can also do things like, we can put on labels, minimum value, maximum value, right? There's all kinds of stuff you can do here. But let's go to probably the most interesting thing, which is in the series bar. We can add our data labels. So right here, so like you can see, this is a y value of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We may or we may not want that. But one thing we definitely do want is the trend line. And then we want to see our label right here, use equation as a label. So you can see -1 times x plus 5. Yes, that is our equation. It matches what we have here. In fact, I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to say y equals, and put some nice spaces in there, -1 times x plus 5. Perfect. Okay. Good. So there we go. Yeah, so now you can do all kinds of stuff like that where you like predict what the value is going to be, you graph things, you turned Excel into a graphing calculator. Let's do it one more time with a slightly more complex. Let's do like a quadratic, or even like, what do you call those? Not a quadratic, but like a cubic, or some kind of crazy polynomial. Let's say like, let's say x to the third. So let's say x. Now I'm going to use the caret 6. It's above the 6, shift 6. X to the third minus 2x squared plus 5. And let's just see what that looks like. All right. So again, maybe I'll just copy and paste my x values, put those in there. And now I'm actually going to spread them out a little bit more. So maybe I didn't need to do that. Let's say -4, -1, 0, 1. 4 and 7, and let's just see what those look like. So now here, y values, this one is going to be a little bit more tricky to type in, but it will still be okay. We'll type in equals, remember, indicate that we're calculating something. So we're going to do this one, and now we're going to use our caret to the third power minus 2 times our h2 again, this time to the second power. Oops, and I plus 5, and this makes me realize I typed an error in right there. So -91. Oh, good. This is going to be interesting here. Plus 5. Okay, -91, and then we'll copy and paste. This 5, 4, 37, 250. Okay. I wonder what this is going to look like. Perhaps we should insert some more data in here. Command X, and right there, -2, and let's see what -2, let's see what value that brings us. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and make this into a chart again. So we're going to go through grind through our steps again here, insert chart, and again, of course, we're going to need a scatter plot, and we're going to use row 1 as headers. Yeah, like that. Use column H as labels. Perfect. Okay, and you can see a little bit of that cubic shape right here. It looks like we have potentially 1 or 2 roots. And we could kind of like dial in with a more fine-tooth comb to see what's happening in this key area right here. If we wanted to aggregate column H, yes, I think we're good there. And did it work? No. So of course we're going to have to go back to our customize, our horizontal axis, and uncheck that button to treat them as labels. So anyways, there we go. that's doing it again for another one. And now let's do, sorry if that sounded weird. Let's see. Let's go back and let's actually put our trend line on this and let's see how close the value of Excel was to our actual thing here. So the type was not linear now. Now it's not exponential, it's polynomial. And you can see you can get into a lot of different stuff here. Let's do polynomial. Oh, that didn't work at all. That's terrible. Interesting. Okay, so it's not able to, let's see what it thinks the trend line actually looks like. Label, use equation. So you can see it did not really find out. It thinks it's a quadratic right here. So we didn't give it enough data points to really figure out what the X and Y values were. So that's not going to work, but you can add a bunch more in, really easy just by copying and pasting. Using those 0.5s or using, going further on each end, and eventually you'll be able to kind of like narrow it down and find the actual equation itself. So there we go. There's the activity right there. And in the video, good luck, have fun playing with all this stuff.